Eamon Khan here for Seconds Out. Pleasure to be in the company of former World and Ring Magazine champion Barry McGuigan. Barry, let's get straight into the action. Last night we saw Oleksandr Usyk achieve for the third time and the second time at heavyweight undisputed status, beating Daniel Dubois for the
Yep.
second time at Wembley, this time on British soil. What unfolded when you watched it yourself?
I anticipated, I predicted in my Daily Mirror column that he would win and he would stop him in the late rounds, but I thought it would be the last third of the fight. I expected it to be sort of rounds from 8 to 12. Kind of surprised that it was over early, but not surprised at Usyk, who is a remarkable fighter. Really, we know about all his achievements at cruiserweight and cleaning out the division, then going up and beating Joshua twice, Fury twice, and now Dubois twice. He's one of the very, very special heavyweights. The all-time greats is a name that's thrown up too many times, but he's certainly he's a seriously great fighter because of the fact that he genuinely is a cruiserweight. He's not a he could never have had to move out of cruiserweight had he not wanted to explore the idea of going up to heavyweight. He could have stayed at cruiserweight his whole career. But he's a remarkable guy, an incredibly attractive personality, and a great, great fighter. God almighty, he was so clinical this time. Never got buzzed once. Got hit low at one stage. It wasn't low, borderline again, and then he sort of put his hand up to Dubois, but he was just too good for Dubois. Too much, too complex, too multi-skilled, in and out, that head movement. And I loved the way he was just keeping that head move, stepping in, stepping out. And it was like he put Dubois into a trance and he nailed him with that backhand every time. And he was just all over him. He dominated him. I think I give Dubois maybe a share of one or possibly one round. But he was battered in those 5 rounds, and it was only a matter of time. And it was great the way he could take him out so clinically. It was, to show that he can punch and take guys out, big, strong, powerful guys like Dubois.
You, of course, had Daniel at the McGuigan's gym, knowing him as a fighter. Did he exhibit the signs of a fighter who'd learned and taken much from the first fight with Oleksandr Usyk into the second one?
No, I just don't think he has the intellect for that. I don't think, and I mean that, and I don't want to be distasteful or
Sure.
in any way bitter. Absolutely not. I just don't think he has the capacity. He's a powerhouse. He's a banger. He's a guy who crowds you and hits you. And then when you exchange with him, good chance he might go down, but just like he did in the Kevin Lorena fight. But he gets up and he can hit you really hard. If you make the mistake of walking and exchanging with him, you're going to get your head taken off. One of the best punchers in the heavyweight division I've seen in many, many years. So that's a real humbling experience for him last night. But the way Usyk did it, and he learned from the last fight, whereas Dubois didn't. That's the difference between a guy who's multi-complex and can fight a variety of different ways, like Usyk. And there aren't many of them around, and he's an exceptional fighter and an exceptional heavyweight, even though he's a 1970s heavyweight in reality. But the way he finished that fight was spectacular. And, Dubois can come back, but, he's damaged now. And people will know that he's got that vulnerability about him and he can be knocked out.
What needs to be done behind the scenes when the cameras, the lights go off and people stop talking about the fight to ensure that as a fighter, Daniel doesn't take what happened last night into his fights to mitigate that damage that you're talking about?
Yeah. I don't want to sound arrogant or cocky, but it's just about the coaching. It's about, you got to instill that in, drill it in with constant, repetitive. Some guys pick it up, and other guys some guys pick it up intellectually. Other guys learn by repetition and just repeating and going over the same combination to instill it in their brain. I think Dubois falls into the latter category. It's about whether, just as you say, whether or not that now has damaged him psychologically. He knows, even in the, Lorena, when he got back to the corner and Shane screamed at him after the first round, said, "What the fuck are you doing, mate? What are you doing? This fight could have been over. Get out there and nail this guy. Just take him, walk him on that right hand, move your head, close him down, and then touch him with the jab and pile drive that right hand and finish with the left hook. You've got to get this guy out." And that's what he did in the following round. But he was a gnat's breath from getting knocked out in that fight. So, I don't know that he can learn. I don't know that he fights instinctively. He is he's a powerhouse, strong guy, gets into punching range. Anybody he hits properly, they're going, and that's it. But it's hard to make them a thinking fighter, almost impossible. So I don't know that he's going to improve in that area. He just has got to get out, get a number of wins again under his belt, get his confidence back. But he has the power to knock anybody out, as he's shown many, many times, But, he's got to be in a position to get that opportunity. So he's got to keep winning. He's got to try and turn his career around. He's still young enough to do it. But I don't know that he'll ever be able to learn. I don't know that he'll ever be able to learn the way Usyk can learn, because he just hasn't got the mental capacity to do that.
I have seen, and of course, boxing is such a brutal sport, but people are leveling the quit accusation towards Daniel, even in this fight, off of the back of that knockdown. Do you feel that Daniel did have the ability to maybe to get up and try again after that second knockdown, or was it?
Yeah, he's been accused. Him as being a quitter. I think that's a very cruel thing to say. And most of the people who come out with that stuff never took a punch in their life.
Sure.
So I don't give any sort of credence to that at all, because most of them are just idiots, and they haven't gone through that experience. Yes, I understand that he in the last fight he went down from like a jab. But he hit him in the eye, and his eye was very badly bruised, so he had a reason to go down. But some people quit easy, some people don't quit easy. But it's a combination of assets that you have. You don't have that sort of power without having a weak spot. So you have a plus and a minus. That's just the way it is. Guys like Usyk come around once in a lifetime, maybe once in 3 lifetimes. That's how good he is. So he's a very special guy. And one of the great heavyweights and great cruiserweights, and guys that have been able to go up and take on those extra 25 pounds of muscle and beef and strength and be able to handle it. So he's very, very special. And Usyk, I really genuinely hope that he considers that he should bow out pretty soon. I know he's 38. I know he sort of argued that I've still got it, and he showed that he still has it in the way he handled Dubois, but he really shouldn't hang around too far if he's interested in his legacy. But I know they're going to throw tons of money at him. But I hope it's only another couple of fights before he bows out, because he's very special, and we want to remember him as being very special.
Do any of the fights with Fury in the trilogy, Moses Atama, Cabiel, Joe Parker, interest you if Usyk was to continue?
Yeah, I think that the kid that's coming through that's very spectacular is Moses Atuma, or whatever, however you pronounce his name. Atama. He's very special. He's fast. He's a southpaw. He blows guys out. Question mark over his stamina, because he hasn't really had to go that far into a fight, but he's very special. And I really wouldn't want to see Usyk fighting somebody as quick and as young and as full of vitality as Atamu is right now. I'd like him to have another fight. If he wants to fight Tyson Fury again, fine. If he wants to fight Joshua again, fine. But don't hang around too long. Don't be fighting the young lions coming up. I think Moses has another year of development before he fights for the top prize. But he's very special, and he's very good, and he's going to be very dangerous in the future as he gets more mature, as he gets more rounds under his belt. And the problem is trying to get him those rounds. But and I don't think Derek will last more than 3 or 4 rounds either. And I know he's incredibly durable, Derek, but Tama is very special.
I have 2 quick questions to close out. One on the undercard, Lawrence Sakoli fought against Kevin Lorena. How did you view Lawrence's performance? He tore his biceps. I had to deal with that very early and then boxed and minimal hold, I'd suggest, in that fight. And Kevin Lorena didn't have the opportunity to push on like he had in previous fights against Dubois and Justice Huni. But how do you feel Lawrence did?
Lawrence did well, but he's a very difficult guy to to get excited about, because most of the fights are either spoiling or he wins his way, which is holding you at distance and then hitting you with the backhand, hitting you with a hook and then grabbing you. So on Twitter, he got absolutely railed and ripped to pieces because he's so boring. And, when that happens once or twice or 3 times, Eamon, it's hard to shake it. So I just don't think there's a future for Lawrence in the heavyweight division. He might be able to beat the likes of Kevin Lorena, but even though Lorena had he had Dubois in desperate trouble and all in the first round, I really don't think Lawrence is going to cut it as a heavyweight. It'll be interesting to see, but from my experience and looking at him, and we got him over the line as a cruiserweight, and we were with him quite a long time, and we know what he's like in training and everything else. He's inherently fearful. He fights fearful. He's got a great right hand. He's got great physical attributes. But I just think that he tends to be too negative, and I don't think he's going to make it as a heavyweight. That's a pretty acerbic way to see it. But I'm being honest with you. It's I don't see, on the strength of that performance and what I've seen in the past, I don't think he's going to cut it as a heavyweight.
And finally, Ellie OConnor, she boxed on the MVP promotions card. She boxed brilliantly on the MVP promotions card, wearing the loss of a good friend, Georgia O'Connor, as well, into that fight and dedicating her performance to her loss. What opportunities do you want for Ellie off of the back of signing with Jake Paul? And
first of all, sorry, Eamon, to cut across. First of all, she is the most wonderful kid. She's just a fabulous young lady, and she was deeply emotional about Georgia, and she was very close to her, and she was, and it just shows the sort of magnanimity and generosity of spirit that she has, that the first thing she would say after winning that unification fight is, I want to remember Georgia. She was such a great girl, and she was my friend, and she's just a beautiful girl, but by God, can she fight. And she's only scratching the surface. The super bantamweight division, we know women go on longer, can hold their strength and their speed, and they can go on longer, whether it's the idea of having children or whatever. Maybe that's just human nature, but she can go on and unify the completely dominate the super bantamweight division. There's only one other title. She's Ring Magazine, IBF, WBO and WBC. So whether she wins that other title or not makes no difference. I think she should go to featherweight, and she can win at featherweight too. And it's been leveled against it. She doesn't really punch, but look at the way she dominated Mercado. She completely and utterly dominated. I mean, I gave her 1 round and maybe a share of a second, but Ellie just completely battered her and dominated her, hurt her continuously. And she's such a great. She's only scratching the surface. I promise you, she can go to featherweight and possibly super featherweight.
Barry, you're a gent. Appreciate you giving me some of your time on a Sunday. Enjoy the rest of the Open, and look forward to seeing you very soon.
Always welcome, Eamon. You're a top man, and so come back to me whenever you want to. Cheers, mate. Have a good one out there. Get a bit of sleep.
I don't gamble either, so hopefully I stay away from
don't go near the gambling. That's all rubbish.
Cheers,
you
Barry.
take care, Eamon. Thank you.